Hello everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to the Plutonium Show.
Oh, you camera shy. Who's camera shy?
We have a special guest today.
You my camera shy boy.
For those who are listening and not watching, you might want to have a look. It's Leo.
Hi, Leo.
Special guest.
Yeah, look, there's a camera over there. Yeah, it's a camera.
We thought we'd show him because I had a few comments of people, the OGs who were there when we first got Leo a couple of years ago. Ooh, he doesn't want to be here.
Here we go. Let's try this one.
He doesn't want to be
Here
here.
we go.
Oh my God.
Look at the camera.
So
Look at the camera.
some people have been asking about him and asking whether he's okay, whether he's still alive. Some of y'all are a little dramatic. He's there. He's actually there almost every video that I'm filming. He's just in the room falling asleep because he falls asleep to the side of my voice for some reason. I thought it would have the opposite effect.
Gee, I don't blame him.
So, yeah, there's Leo. I don't think he's happy to be here, though. So we might put him
He knows the
back.
camera's running. Now he's... Oh, you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'll let you go.
We're going to let him go.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, baby. I'll take
All right,
it.
we'll be back.
And we're back.
I guess I'll start off by apologizing for having an 11-day hiatus between the last podcast and the most recent video on Friday. Two reasons. First of all, I am in assignment season, but more importantly, my Friday video was supposed to go up on Tuesday, but that was when we got the news of King Charles's diagnosis, and so I felt that it wouldn't be disrespectful, but it just wouldn't be right to just upload something and pretend that, nothing happened, nothing's going on, especially since this channel talks about the royal family. So I made a community post acknowledging King Charles's diagnosis and wishing him all the best. But yeah, I just thought I'd lay low just out of respect, not talk about Harry, not talk about Meghan, not talk about anyone. And but now we're back.
Now we're back. Yeah, and I think that was the right call to give it a few days.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to anyone who decided to cover it. It's just everyone has their own kind of, what you're comfortable doing, what you're not comfortable doing. So it's been pretty much a week since the diagnosis of King Charles. A lot of people have been kind of nasty and saying that, oh, he's not the first or last person. But if it were anyone else, I would feel just as terrible.
He's a human,
Exactly.
And he deserves the respect of a human. So, yeah, it's terrible, whoever it happens to.
Yeah, it's not that it's King Charles and it's somehow worse. He just happens to be a public figure, of course, the King of the Commonwealth, and he decided to share the news with us. Now, he has since released a thank you statement to everyone, and I'll put it up on the screen. I won't be reading it out loud, but basically, thanking us for all our messages of support and good wishes. And he's also stated that he finds it very heartening to hear how sharing his own diagnosis has helped promote public understanding and shine a light on the work of all those organizations which support cancer patients and their family, which I guess that's the good side of a public figure bringing awareness, being diagnosed, God forbid, with a horrible diagnosis and just, raising awareness.
Yep.
Not that we all need awareness about cancer. I think it plagues all of us hopefully not all of us will be getting it, but I think the thought and the fear of this ticking time bomb where something can just randomly decide to go wrong. You can be the healthiest person, the youngest person, and you can still get it.
Yeah, it's terrifying for everyone, and especially the idea of there being not really any cure, and then whatever treatment we have is horrendous to the body, It's almost indiscriminately, I guess it is, indiscriminately killing your body.
Yep. Now, from King Charles to Prince William. But first of all, I'd like to say that Catherine seems to be doing quite well because she has gone to visit the king at Sandringham with her children, which means, that involves travel.
Yeah.
So she's out and about, she's moving, which is obviously excellent news. She's, on the mend, and hopefully we'll see her beautiful face soon. And Prince William, a lot of people I've been seeing over the past week in the comments section, just people really getting exasperated, but my brain kept trying to say exacerbated, exasperated with the media and how they instantly latched on to Prince Harry and the fact that he went to visit his father, as opposed to talking about King Charles and Prince William, who must be going through such a tough time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, first it was his wife, and then King Charles's enlarged prostate. It just hasn't been an easy year for the royal family. We all know about Sarah Ferguson's diagnosis as well. And William has had to step up. He has attended an investiture ceremony where he was, you know, putting up a brave face, a smile, and getting on with his job, with his duty, despite the fact that his wife is at home recuperating, and I'm sure he wants to be with her.
Yeah, that's exactly where I want to be if you were sick.
Yeah. And he has thanked the nurses that have helped her, by the way, and he referred to them as Filipino nurses because they're from the Philippines.
Right.
And some crazy woke people have gone insane calling him racist.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, what if the nurses were Australian? Would that be racist? What if they were American? Would that be racist?
Yeah.
No, it's not. What, we can't say where people are from anymore.
Seriously.
That's horrible.
And I think the nurses, or one nurse, has come out and expressed such gratitude at being thanked. So clearly making it obvious that she's not offended that he referred to her as a Filipino nurse.
I mean, now that makes me think, hey, if Filipino nurses have, like, if they're good enough for the royal family, man, next time I'm in hospital, I hope I get treated by a Filipino nurse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's sort of like, now they're being held in such prestige.
Exactly. He's highlighting how great they are.
Exactly.
I know. It just shows you that some people, it doesn't matter. They will always find a way to attack you.
Yeah.
And he also made an appearance at a fundraiser gala for the London Ambulance, I believe. Now, Prince William used to be a rescue pilot, and he was involved in over 300 rescue missions. They saved over 200. My understanding is that he quit in 2017 because he was affected by what he saw. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's understandable if it is. I mean, I'm sure, like, everyone, paramedics, you guys are incredible.
Yeah, I can only imagine, because you're the first on the scene in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And especially if you need to get a helicopter in there, right? Then it's
Pretty
pretty bad. So, yeah, I mean, everything I'm hearing is just like, this guy is so fit to be king, stepping up when his family's sick. He's out there, he was out there rescuing people, you know, and
He served in the military.
He served in the military. There's all these situations where you go, yeah, this guy, man, it's going to be good when he's king.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And he put on such a brave face at the gala because, you know, it was, I suppose, not a party, but it had that party vibe. And he really had to put it on, even though his wife and his father now, well, his wife's recovering, thank God, but his father, as we all know, the diagnosis is still very fresh. And he took to the stage and thanked everyone for their kind wishes regarding his wife, Catherine, and the king.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you also for the kind messages of support for Catherine and for my father, especially in recent days. It means a great deal to us all.
He is just the personification of duty and what it means to be royal. Whether he was born, you know, it's that regal quality.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, the bloodline, whatever, royalty, all that. But he's just regal. And Catherine shares that quality as well.
Yeah.
And it really stands out when you compare him to his brother.
Oh, so much. There are people who are born into money and do nothing with it and just sit on their butt and just live the life and let everyone else suffer. And then there are people who do things to make the world a better place. And we are seeing both sides of that with Harry and with William.
Absolutely. And everyone says this. Thank goodness for Prince William being the firstborn. He's always been the mature, level-headed one. I mean, of course, you know, not everyone's got flaws. I hear he has a temper, and who doesn't in certain situations. But he's always been the mature, level-headed one, even according to his mother. You know, he's always been there for her. She burdened him with adult problems, which is a big no-no. But he was there. And Prince Harry was just, you know, even though the age gap is tiny between them, people keep saying, Prince Harry's much younger. He's only a couple of years younger, people.
I mean, come on.
Literally 2 years younger.
Yeah, he's much younger. How old is he this year?
40.
No excuses.
And you know what? The media refers to him as this young man. Young man.
Look, I'm all for not calling 40 old, for both genders, by the way, because 40 is not old. But we cannot say Harry's allowed to get away with this because he hasn't matured yet. By 40, you should have matured. There should be some sort of adult in that body, but Harry acts like a child most of the time.
And even if it's not the age, you would think being a father of 2 children would have matured him.
You would hope. You would hope being a parent in any regard, even being a godparent, would have some sort of effect on maturing a person, right? I've heard this, I don't know if trope's the right word, but I've heard that, almost a stereotype cliche that that's when people really mature, when they have kids, right?
Yeah. Which
but
means
not Harry.
I'll never mature.
Neither will I. I guess I'll, always be so immature. But hey, we don't have kids. We're more mature than Harry.
My mom jokes that I was born a middle-aged woman, so I think I should be okay. And speaking of Harry, actually, Queen Camilla, the villain, he's called her, the evil stepmother who would sell everyone down the river just for her own benefit. She's been hard at it as well.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, despite the fact that, if you were diagnosed with cancer, my goodness, my whole world would come crumbling down.
Yep.
And I'm sure that's how she feels. But she's been out, doing engagements. There was one engagement where it was planned for her to take a helicopter to because it was far away. Mm-hmm. She couldn't go on a helicopter because of the weather. And so she got in a car for 6 hours.
My goodness.
To make sure she made it.
Far out.
Honestly, let's be honest here. There are people who wouldn't do that for their full-time job, for their everyday job, if there was like weather and they'd be like, screw it, I'm taking a sickie today.
There are people who wouldn't drive 15 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
If the weather was a little bit bad.
I've had jobs where it was raining and people just didn't show up.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm really sick today. It has nothing to do with the rain clouds at all.
So good on her. Look, I know she has her haters. I was not born. We were both not born for a lot. We were born pretty much after Diana and Charles divorced. So it's not our part of our time, but I am aware of her part to play. And again, no one's perfect. I think what has mattered is she has conducted herself throughout that period of hatred with such dignity. She didn't go talking. She didn't go to the media. She just kept her head down and stood by the man that she adores. All that trouble she went through just for being with him. Yeah.
Well, let's do a little comparison here. Who else can we think that's completely squandered and taken for granted the entire idea of being royal? Oh, I know, Meghan. So when we compare Camilla to Meghan, right? Meghan can't respond to the hate. Meghan is incapable of responding in a dignified way. Meghan falls apart at every opportunity to rise above things, and she becomes more petty and more pathetic as time goes, right? Camilla is out here being a royal. Mm-hmm. She's out here doing what her dear husband, what's important to him, right? It's like when, this is important to me because it's important to you. Anything that's important to your partner should be important to the other one, right? Mm. So she's out here, not thinking of herself, not thinking of what she would want to do. All Meghan does is think of herself. So I would hope that maybe some of those haters, regardless of what they think, would at least see that and go, well, at least Camilla's not Meghan. Right?
Yes. And now everything that I've wanted to say the past week, but I've held off on out of respect.
Here we go.
To be a prince with such low expectations from the world. The media, which really, they really got on my nerves last week. They really did. Just started gushing. They lapped up Harry's PR stunt. And yes, I believe it was a PR stunt. More on that later. Just giving him accolades for dropping everything and rushing off on a plane on first class to see his ailing father.
Oh, wow. He took first class instead of a private jet. Oh, wow. That is such a sacrifice for him.
It's funny. And there is a valid argument here. Don't get me wrong. People have criticized that and said of all the times that you could have taken a private jet, because when someone has cancer and they're going through, treatment, their immune system is very compromised. And so that's why King Charles has actually stepped back and he can't have any face-to-face engagements. And you should only be around your immediate family. Now, Harry doesn't live with Charles, so he's not really counted as immediate family. And plus, he's been on a plane where you breathe in the same air as another 200 people.
Even if you're in first class.
Yes. So people have pointed that out and gone, of all the times that you could have taken a private jet. In this instance, it may be a little bit of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't.
Yeah, and look, after all the stunts he's pulled, he kind of deserves that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, let people to criticize his every move because he deserves that criticism.
Yes.
You know, he's done such horrendous things to his family, and now he's going to pretend that everything's okay.
Exactly.
All right, yeah, sure. I hope no one falls for this in their own families too, because the way he's treated his father, he didn't care when it was his grandmother. He didn't care when it was his grandfather. Mm-hmm. Why is he going to care now?
Exactly.
Are people going to say, oh, but he wasn't as close to his grandmother, his grandfather? I don't care. They're still family.
He was close, and he would say it himself. In fact, 2022, he went to see the Queen for a private quick meeting, and he went and blabbed to the U.S. media. We covered this in the Plutonium show two years ago.
Yep.
It was around the Invictus Games at The Hague. And he gave an interview to an American channel and said how close he was to the Queen and how she only trusted him, and he worries about who she surrounds herself with. Imagine the gall.
Oh, man, and worries about who's around. Harry, you're married to someone who's not a very nice person. Maybe concern yourself with who you're surrounding yourself with, huh?
To be honest, he's not a nice person either.
Yeah, clearly. And even if he has a nice side, but he's just a flag in the wind and he's so influenced by her, again, I'm playing devil's advocate or thinking of what some apologists might say to defend Harry, then no, then, standard you walk past is a standard you accept. Even just being her husband and letting her do these things,
It's
right?
bad enough.
It's bad enough, right?
Yep.
Even if he was doing nothing, letting her cause trouble is bad enough.
Yep, I agree. And all these, accolades for dropping everything. What is he dropping? He's jobless.
He has nothing to do. Netflix doesn't want anything to do with him. Spotify doesn't want
That's not true. You keep saying that. I think you're forgetting that Netflix still has them. Netflix actually, an executive or something, he recently came out and said, oh, we have so much in the pipeline with Meghan and Harry, but they haven't said what.
Well, here's what I would say to that. How long's it been since they released their 6-part series of Woe Is Me?
Just over a year.
Right.
But then there was the Heart of Invictus last year.
I suppose.
That kind of tanked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's still with Netflix. They're still with Netflix, at least until 2025.
Yeah, I just feel like, especially with those two being blabbermouths, I feel like Netflix would be like, we can juice them for as much content as we want. So where is the other content? I guess Heart of Invictus I keep forgetting because it tanked. But
there is that movie actually based on a book, Meet Me by the Lake. We talked about it in a previous podcast. You probably don't remember.
So there is stuff.
There's one movie that is in pre-production, apparently. Okay. Yeah, it's based on a book. But anything else, whether that movie will actually see the light of day, we don't know. So yeah, he has no job. He has no career. He passes the buck when very serious allegations about African parks came about, and are still, as far as we know, nothing has been done about it. So yeah, I mean, they're talking as though he's this full-time dad and full-time worker, who dropped everything to see his father.
He's a full-time blabbermouth.
Yes, and from what we know, he was not even invited. So he decided to go off by himself. Now, on principle, that's fine, I guess. I mean, I think different people handle it differently, but if it were me, I would call my parent and make sure that they were happy to receive me. They were available for me. Is this a good time?
Yep.
So he could have done that, but more importantly, uninvited or not, he could have gone entirely in private. We know they're capable of doing this. They just popped up on the Jamaica red carpet. No one saw them travel.
Yep.
They just popped up to see the Queen in 2022. No one saw them, apart from when the van, I think there's a Netflix van following them when they've left or something. But no one saw them. There was no evidence of them arriving. And I promise you, just like how they were able to whisk Catherine in and out of the hospital without being seen, there are ways to do this discreetly.
Absolutely. And the fact that it was done publicly and the fact that the media was talking about it for a week straight is exactly everything we need to know. This was entirely engineered. There's no other way about it. He wanted it to look like, look how much I care for my family, even though I badmouth them every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Look how much I care. It's like, Harry, you didn't care when things were good. You made things bad. Now things have gotten worse, and now you're going to pretend, oh, suddenly I care about my family. No, your actions speak louder than your words.
That's why I can't understand the media lapping it up and going, oh, good on him, give him the benefit of the doubt, as though he and his despicable wife weren't sitting talking to Oprah while Prince Philip was dying.
Yep.
As though Meghan didn't blackmail the royal family a week before Queen Elizabeth died.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you guys have the memory of a goldfish? They keep saying, oh, it's time for a reunion, it's time for a reconciliation, an olive branch. We are beyond, they are, I feel so invested.
Yeah.
They are far beyond that. And proof of that is that the meeting, which he flew over 11 hours for, uninvited, and he had a motorcade of security. Meanwhile, William drives around to the hospital to see Catherine and his father, and there was basically it was like a normal guy driving.
Because it was genuine.
And because he's humble.
Yes.
He doesn't have anything to prove.
He doesn't have to go, I have to prove that I love my wife. So media, come on, Greg, come on, let's come over.
Or I have to show my importance.
Yeah.
Why do you think Harry wants security? Well, apart from access to intelligence, but it's all about showmanship. He's Meghan's husband after all.
Yeah, William doesn't have to pretend to be important. He just does things because he feels that he has a responsibility to do things. And then we go, oh, wow, that's really cool, William. Harry is trying so hard to be important while doing nothing.
Yeah. And who leaked it to the press? People were saying Prince Harry is going to go see his father before he even went.
Oh, I wonder where they would have gotten that from.
Exactly. Who's going to know? It's insane. And the media is just completely lapping it up. And like, I switched off. Like, I have assignments anyway, but I completely, I got the gist of the news. I kept, on top of things in terms of updates about King Charles. But the media videos, I was done. I was disgusted.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect point for me to point out why I never watch free-to-air TV, no matter what, because the amount of twisting and the amount of lies and the amount of just misleading, it's just incredible. I cannot believe they can say with a straight face, oh, wow, he went to see his father who was sick. How sweet of him. Mm-hmm. What happened to the last half decade of slander?
Exactly. And also, his father was sick with enlarged prostate, technically. Or how about the time at Prince Philip's funeral when he begged Harry and William to not make his final years difficult?
Yeah, where was that, Harry?
Yeah, that was in 2021. And if anything, Meghan and Harry only picked up the pace with their attacks after that.
It's almost like they felt as if, oh, we're getting to them. Let's keep it up.
Exactly. Wouldn't you think if you cared about your father, you wouldn't have done half the things that they did?
Try any of that. I mean, even if you want to go, oh, yeah, he's only doing it for media attention. One, say things that your father or your supposed family don't even care about. Let them in on it. Make this whole media storm. Make it all up. It's like, what's another example? I can't think, but I'm sure it's like, oh, are these celebrity couples getting a divorce? And they're not. It's that they feel like twisting something.
Well, Meghan and Harry have done that. Last year was all about, is it over?
But they're in on it.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So if you want to kick up a fuss, I mean, I know King Charles and, Queen Elizabeth and Philip, I know that they would be above all of that anyway, and they wouldn't have gone along with it.
Of course.
But if you actually just wanted media attention because you're a spoiled brat.
How about you do something to deserve it? Do something that deserves attention, something good.
But that's unfortunately, these people are incapable of doing any good. If you, again, devil's advocate, did Harry just want media attention and, he wanted to be like, I've got royal goss? No, he wanted to hurt his family. And even if he didn't want to hurt his family and Meghan wanted to hurt his family, the fact that she let him go along with it, or that he let her go along with it, is still bad enough.
Speaking of Meghan,
the pretend humanitarian.
They have a formula that are telltale signs that this is a PR stunt. So we talked about how the news that Harry is going was leaked, number 1. Number 2, paparazzi were there to photograph his arrival. Number 3, Meghan was spotted. And look, I always am very careful with saying, things about mental health and mental illness. But the day after news of the king's diagnosis was made and Harry went to see his dad, Meghan, right on cue, was photographed by Backgrid. There's your clue. Driving a car. But look at how she can't even see beyond this. Like, look how huge this car is for her.
Oh man, I've seen people drive cars like that before. Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
This is like, when people have really, really big cars and you feel like they're compensating for something. Compensation. This is worse than all of that. And this is coming from, here our cars aren't as big as America. When I visited America, those cars were massive. This is the worst case I've ever seen of it.
I think she's alone in her car. I can't see anyone else there. And she's grinning to herself. Yeah.
She looks crazy. This looks like something I would see in a horror movie. Like you can just see a smile in the dark.
Yeah. What is she doing? Doesn't she want to at least pretend she's been caught? She's been popped by a paparazzo and she, caught unawares?
Doesn't she want to at least pretend like she gives two hoots about King Charles?
Exactly. You want to be photographed smiling?
You're going to smile like that. I mean, of course she's happy. And from what's happened to Catherine, we said that too. She must be gloating.
The optics again, remember that video I made, The Fool? They have no concept of optics, just like every other narcissist out there. They are so in their own heads that they have no idea how things look. And another clue of this PR stunt is another headline about how Meghan and Harry are the only younger family members that cancer-stricken King Charles can call on. This is insanity.
This is why we don't read tabloids. We don't watch free-to-air TV. This is why we ignore the nonsense that these companies put out. Because my goodness, next they're going to say Queen Meghan, just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Just because they can. Just because it's one of those things that people are going to buy magazines for. Or it's crazy walking through the shops because normally I have no clue about what's going on.
Yep.
But when I see a headline about the royal family now, as I'm like standing at the cashier and I'm like, that is a blatant lie. I just talked about that on a podcast. You are lying through your teeth, and yet it's okay because they're famous and you can lie about famous people.
Yeah, but this is clearly, it's been leaked to them from their PR team. It's almost been pre-written.
It has, because to them, they're always about controlling the narrative. Meghan's biggest problem is that people are talking about her in ways that she doesn't want. So she does everything she can to make sure that people are talking about her in ways that she can control. But here we are, Meghan, and we're calling you an evil person yet again.
And speaking of poor optics, Harry suddenly, less than 24 hours, maybe 24 hours after flying to see his dad by the way, the meeting apparently lasted from anywhere between 12 to 45 minutes. King Charles went on a helicopter with Queen Camilla, and they went off to Sandringham for him to recuperate.
Yep.
That was always part of the plan, and it bolsters the narrative that Harry wasn't invited.
Of course not. He just had to fit into their schedule because they're not going to stop and make time for him.
Well, apparently they did delay the helicopter a little bit, but then it was going to get dark and they had to go. So King Charles still humored him a little bit.
That's all he deserves. That's literally, Harry doesn't deserve to see the father that he's slandering or the stepmother that he's slandering. He doesn't deserve to step foot in England anymore.
I agree. And Brits did not want him. There was a video I watched of people on the streets, and one man in particular was, he called him a traitor.
Yeah.
But essentially, the people of the UK don't want him here.
Absolutely.
And also, just to be clear, Queen Camilla did not meet him after everything he said about her. Can hardly blame her.
You go, girl. You stand up to him.
And King, getting ahead of myself here, Prince William refused to see him too.
Good.
And just very briefly, can people stop with the, oh my God, Prince William needs to be the bigger person? Wow.
No. We are not doing that. If someone continuously harms you, if someone keeps hurting you, being the bigger person does not mean letting them continue harming you and letting them get away with it. That makes that person a coward by not standing up to them. So the fact that William and Camilla, Queen Camilla, the fact that they have stood up to him is great. He should know that there are consequences to his actions besides the entire world laughing at him for being a moron.
Absolutely. I've been hearing it a lot this past week. Oh, he should be the better person. Shut up.
Turn the other cheek only works when you haven't run out of cheeks.
Exactly. You know, if this was Harry's first mistake or it wasn't on such a grand scale, he attacked Prince William's wife just recently with the racist allegations.
Yep.
They attacked her. They singled her out in Netflix. He leaked effectively Princess Catherine's private messages in his book Spare.
Yep.
Like copy paste, he put in private text conversations she had with Meghan.
Yep. He doesn't deserve to speak to his family, and his family has every right to ignore him. And it doesn't matter that the word family has been attached. When family crosses the line, it doesn't matter that they're family. You have to show them that they have consequences.
Absolutely. You know the saying, I think we've said this before on the podcast, but blood is thicker than water is not the actual saying. It's actually the exact opposite. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, meaning the friendships you make, the relationships, the people you meet, and the bonds you form are stronger than simply being related. Because we all know that, unfortunately, you can have some really rotten, nasty family members.
Absolutely.
So he shows up at an NFL, I believe, event in Las Vegas, like an award ceremony before the Super Bowl. And he hands out some Lifetime Achievement Award. Sorry, I'm not into that. I'm not American. I'm not into NFL. To a very famous player. And the player shows up on stage and he's like playing the role, or maybe he really is flabbergasted. Oh, that's Prince Harry. I'll play the clip.
Please welcome the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Cam the Man Hayward.
Man, Prince freaking Harry. I'm in shock. That's Prince Harry.
It was so cringe, especially when you consider what Harry's doing and what his brother is doing. One speech versus the other, side by side, and you're just like, how are you even related?
Yeah, right? Like, how did you come from the same person? This doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, honestly, even on a physical level, Harry attacked Prince William's appearance, so I'm going to go there. He set the standard. Prince William is one of the most handsome men to have ever walked this planet. And I include you in that.
Thank you.
And the audience does too. You should read the comments. And Prince Harry is simply not. Sorry.
Yep,
Sorry.
Pretty much. Oh, but he's the younger one. No, I don't care about that. I care about the one who's actually doing right by his family, because attraction should be deeper than just the outside. Whether someone's a good person should matter as well.
I think that's what makes Prince William so beautiful. It radiates.
Yeah.
It really does. His kindness, it's in his eyes.
Yeah.
And I cannot say the same about his brother.
Absolutely not.
So in summary, to wrap things up, people aren't disgusted about the fact that Harry went, because there's this narrative in the media where it's like, oh, he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. People would have attacked him if he didn't go see his father, and now people are attacking him because he did. No, that is not what people are attacking. People are attacking the fact that he used his father for a PR stunt to, number one, justify his appearance at Las Vegas. Because guess what? Imagine if he never went to see his dad and he showed up at Las Vegas. It would have looked real bad. Not that it doesn't look bad and weird. But like, he's officially is like a D-lister at this point.
Absolutely.
Because his wife dragged him down to her level.
Yep.
But it would have looked really rotten and disgusting if he went there without, seeing his father publicly. Again, you could have done it in private. If you really loved your father, could have even spent time with them at Sandringham if you didn't, cross Camilla.
And I know some devil's advocate is going to be like, oh, how do you know that they don't see each other all the time? No, you don't say those sorts of things to people and then see them and go, hey, let's have lunch.
No. We know. Why? Because last year, Harry had a 60-minute interview with Anderson. What's his name? Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper is right, yeah.
And he says, nope, we don't see each other. We don't talk. They don't even talk.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh, it couldn't have been your fault, Harry.
But basically what I'm saying is he's put it out there in the world that there is no contact.
Yep. Well, there you go. No one can say that now.
And maybe he learned in the worst way possible that showing up in Jamaica and showing up at the Legend of Aviation Awards without, I suppose acknowledging the well wishes at least that people have been sending his father and Catherine was a bad look. So he learned from that and went, okay, so I'll go see him first. I'll make sure that's captured and leaked to the media. And then I'll go to the NFL and not even mention my father. Because again, he could have done what William did at the gala and thanked people for their well wishes.
I don't think Harry is capable of doing anything William does, because William is a decent human being and Harry is not.
I agree. And so people are saying, what's all this about? Well, they're saying it's about diverting attention from the African Park scandal.
Oh, absolutely. Which
was dominating the headlines, as you all remember from our last podcast a fortnight ago.
And now it's swept under the rug.
Exactly. So good job, Sussex PR team. The media fell for it once again.
Yes, which is why I'm glad that there's so many ways for information to get out now, because maybe one day none of us need the media. We can all just point and laugh at them and get our information from legitimate sources.
Yeah. So we'll do our part by reminding everyone about the African Park scandal. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's been in the news, in the last couple of weeks before it's been drowned out. But also check out our previous podcast, number 91, where we go through it in very, in detail. And it's horrific. And as far as we're aware,
nothing's happened.
Nothing. And Harry is just, appearing on stage as a D-lister handing out awards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like climbing a mountain. And Meghan thought that if she grabbed onto Harry, that he would bring her up, but he could barely hold himself up. Mm-hmm. So now they're both falling.
Absolutely. That's a great point, because he could never have held himself up without the Palace PR team very carefully crafting his image and making him the very lovable young prince that he once was.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, that's all we have for today.
Yep.
I will say it's award season. So many red carpets happening, and Meghan's not seen on a single one of them. And now they're off to Canada to promote next year's Invictus Games. So I suppose our next episode will probably be about what goes on there.
Yeah, there's going to be something. She can't keep cool. She can't be tasteful at all. So
maybe we'll get another jumbotron, looking at herself. Are they looking at me? Are my reactions are legitimate? No, Meghan, no, they never are.
Yeah.
Your reactions wouldn't be legitimate if your life depended on it.
Nope, nothing about her is legitimate.
All right, anything else you want to say?
No, I liked what I just said then, actually. That was good. That was a good way to end it.
Leo sends his regards.
Yeah, he's probably sleeping in the other room.
Spoiled brat.
Yeah, I don't want to be on camera.
Remember the days he used to be just a kitten, just a baby sleeping in Zach's arms as we used to do 2.5 hour podcasts back then during the pandemic. And Leo would just sleep through it, the whole thing.
To be fair, he was small enough to fit on my arm.
Comfortably.
And now he's huge.
Yeah.
If he wasn't so rowdy, I would have shown you. He's
humongous.
Massive.
So thank you for everyone who's asking about him. Very sweet. He's very much loved. We adore him.
Yep.
And he's a very happy cat. So with that, I think we'll sign off.
Yep. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. Wish me luck. I have an assignment getting submitted on Wednesday. On the Valentine's Day. All right, everyone. I suppose have a good Valentine's Day if you observe it. But, treat your loved ones like a Valentine's Day every day.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.